All right, let's welcome out Olivia Munn.
Hi.
Now, as a young girl, did you think to yourself, one day I'm going to be in movies?
No, I never thought about that. No, being an actress was a wild dream. You know, I'm first generation American, so it was not. When I said I wanted to be an actress, my mom shut it down very quickly. That I was like, all right, I guess I'm not going to do that. I guess I'll go be, an engineer or something that Asians do.
But you had these two lives of being a journalist and being an actress, and now you're sort of full-time actressing, right?
I studied journalism because I loved storytelling and journalism, but my mother wouldn't let me major in theater because she's like, you can't make money in theater. And so I could point to the news or to a newspaper and tell her, like, that's, this is journalism. And I knew I loved, the art of storytelling, and that's what journalism is. So she let me do that. But it actually came in handy because then I went on to The Daily Show where I pretended to play a fake reporter, and then I went to the Newsroom where I pretended to play a real reporter. So somehow I used my degree.
Now, how did you initially get involved in Mortdecai?
My agents called me and said that the director, David Koepp, wanted me to put myself on tape. I was in Prague at the time, so I couldn't come in for an audition, so I put myself on tape, and then that got me to the next round where I Skype called with him, and then I got the offer.
Now, your character is sort of a femme fatale. Did you like these movies? Did you sort of look to older femme fatales from the Bond movies or anything like that in terms of crafting your character?
I knew my character had to be a badass and that she had to really be stealth-like and be a real competitor for everybody else chasing for this painting. But I never thought of her as a femme fatale until I read the breakdown of the press notes. They're like, Georgina, femme fatale. I was like,
they're pushing the femme fatale.
And I was like, I guess I'm gonna say that now. That wasn't what I was describing her as, but it's good to know. I don't think that you can ever go in and go like, I'm gonna be a badass.
Right.
So if I ever went in saying like, I'm gonna be a femme fatale, I think I would fail.
Do you have any favorite sort of either bad Bond girls or femme fatales because the movie sort of plays up on like James Bond movies and things like that?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. That was a good question. I just don't have an answer for you.
Someone else is going to ask it before the movie comes out. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
okay, give me an answer. Give me something. I'll just say it. I'll pretend like it's mine.
Famke Janssen, GoldenEye.
All right, great.
Okay,
Famke Janssen. Ask me again.
So did you look to any James Bond?
Famke Janssen.
Okay. Oh, wow, okay.
GoldenEye. It seems amazing. Her ability to transform and to really become a femme fatale was
I love it.
Inspiring.
I actually called her a Bond girl one time, and she yelled at me. So,
really?
Yeah. She was like, "We're more than that."
And no, you're like, "No, you're not."
You're not. No.
No, she is. She's also an X-Men.
Yes.
Why? Did she really yell at you, or was she more
did.
joking?
No. She was very sort of pointed. It was bizarre.
People call me like the girl from G4, and I'm like, yeah, that was me.
Own it.
Yeah.
So you get to have some great scenes with Jeff Goldblum and Johnny Depp.
Yes.
What was it like working with those two guys? Were they complete weirdos?
That's people ask me that question a lot, and I don't know if I would love people to ask them like, hey, you're weirdos, but because they're not weird. I think that it's because they're both so famous, like they've been famous for so long that I think people are weird to them when they meet them. So. When someone's weird to you when you're talking, when they come up to you, you're gonna just act weird back.
Right.
So that's maybe where they get it from. And they are eccentric, but Jeff Goldblum is awesome. I mean, I love Johnny, but Jeff Goldblum, he walked in and he's Jeff Goldblum. Like Johnny always plays such extreme characters. When you meet him, he's so normal and just easygoing and down to earth. Jeff Goldblum comes in, he's like, hey, everybody, touch my skin. It's like olives. I'm like, what? What is an olive? And the color? No, it feels like an olive. All right. Okay, Jeff Goldblum.
Did you touch it?
Yeah. It's Jeff Goldblum, and it feels like an olive. Yeah. Jeff Goldblum, I always feel like Jeff Goldblum he's not Jeff. I even think that his wife calls him Jeff Goldblum. Because he's so fully Jeff Goldblum.
24/7.
24/7. He's Jeff Goldblum.
So Depp wasn't in character or prancing around or anything?
No.
Okay.
No, he wasn't. No, but when we're doing the scenes, of course, we're all having, we're in character, and it makes it more fun because, we get to just play around and really delve into it. But no, not afterwards. Is that what he's known for? Does he go?
I just assume that he's like Captain Jack all the time or
like
something.
All Daniel Day-Lewis all the time? No, he's not. I had a friend of mine her friend was the assistant for Daniel Day-Lewis for a while, and she said that when she worked with him on Lincoln, and she had to get him a Starbucks every day, and I was like, I don't know if Lincoln actually had Starbucks.
It's like when you hear stories that he was like Skyping with.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, it's like no, Abraham Lincoln didn't Skype.
No, either do it or don't.
Yeah, he would Skype with Sally Field and she would be in character too.
Yeah, so I take that small little thing, the one little thing that I think Daniel Day-Lewis has ever done wrong, and I'm like, no.
Throw it in his face.
Yeah, that one thing. I'll look for it and I'll find it and I'll hold it dear to my heart.
Well, it must have been fun, especially coming off the Newsroom, to do something that's so crazy. I mean, realism is not really, paramount in this movie.
No, it's a heightened reality, and we all have to be extreme characters, but we all have to believe it. So it's very important to have the realism within our hearts. But it's very extreme. But it was fun. It was, this character is very different than me. And like to have this character has no shame. Like she goes through, like she has, and I was like, how do you create a character that's so overly sexual and just it just doesn't care? She's openly hitting on a married man and doesn't care and wants everything and just doesn't really hold anything back. And I was like, well, her father is a billionaire, and
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum is my father in it, and that's what usually happens to people is like when they have so much money and they no longer have to be accountable for anything and they're assholes because you're like, I got money, I can do whatever I want. And that was kind of like she had no shame and she's like, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And that was fun because it gave me that permission.
And what was it like working with Kep? Because I don't know if you guys know him, but he wrote Jurassic Park and Spider-Man and all these huge movies.
He's awesome. He's a really great director because he lets you play and you get to bring a lot to your character, but he's very, usually have storyboards for every movie and they break it down to, like each scene you can see it, but I've never seen anything so detailed. I mean, like if you took all the cards together and flipped them, it would look like a flip book because he was so detailed. But within, so everything that you did every day was just, it's very unusual in a big movie like this, an action movie that we were in, like at 9 and out by 5 because he just had everything working like clockwork.
And Goldblum's skin just
Goldblum's
radiating.
skin, it is like an olive.
Did you read the books that this movie is based on, or no?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. No, did you?
No.
You did no preparation for this interview?
No, I did no
What's wrong? I'm going to find the one thing you did wrong.
One of us on this stage has seen the movie, and one of us hasn't.
Yes,
so.
I have a hard time watching myself in movies. I know I did the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that's I know the movie, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I have a harder time watching myself, just because it's hard when you watch yourself. You just get very critical.
Right.
Yeah.
As we're going to watch this podcast when it goes up on...
I won't watch it.
I won't either.
No. I'll wait for someone to just send me screen grabs, and I'll Instagram those and pretend like I've watched it.
Please, tag me, please.
No.
Damn it. Well, I was going to ask you if you sort of shot anything that didn't make the movie, but if you haven't seen the movie...
No, but I do know because they told me there was a scene... So my character has this fetish with mustaches, and so they had this random scene, which I just thought, it doesn't fit with the movie, but it never fit with the movie. It was just supposed to be the scene, and it just randomly cuts to her in a horse stable, and it's just me and a horse, and I'm just petting his mane, and I'm like, don't be mad at me, come on. And it's just like, then you reveal that it's me and a horse, and then David was like, just improv, just come up with different lines, and one of my favorite ones, which immediately I knew they were never going to keep, but I whispered to the horse, and I said, I have to tell you a secret. I'm late. And I got a little chuckle just like that. And then mostly I looked up and people were like, and then that's when I felt like a winner.
That's when you knew the scene would
not
be in the movie.
And I was like, you'll be stupid not to put this in the movie. They didn't.
Well, a lot of the movie is about mustaches and either...
Yes.
Because Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't like the mustache. You do.
Yes.
What is your personal stance on mustaches?
My personal, I prefer I prefer a beard. I think beards are cool. I think a mustache, it's a lot of party on your face. It's a lot of things going on. I prefer a beard or scruff.
Okay.
Yeah, 66 right there. He's got the beard. What up? His government name isn't 66 though. Don't confuse that. His mother did not name him that.
Should there be further Mordecai adventures? Would you be down for returning to this world?
I'm down for any and all work.
Okay.
If anybody would like to offer me work, sure, yeah.
A couple years ago, you were in Magic Mike, which was so
Yes.
great, and you were so amazing in it.
Thank you.
What was it like working with Soderbergh, and are you back for Magic Mike XL?
Yeah, Soderbergh's not doing the second one, which I wish he was because he's so brilliant.
He's shooting and editing it.
Yes.
He's everything.
He's part
but,
of it. Yes. And but it's so fun because he's really collaborative. You know, when you get to work with, there's a certain people who are really geniuses at what they do, like Sorkin, Jon Stewart, Soderbergh. They're really fun and collaborative, and it was really fun on set. So my character in the beginning on the page, she didn't really. She was just the girl that he was hooking up with, and at the end, she's like, "I've got a boyfriend, fuck off." And then I was like, "That's it. That's like," and I said, "Well, I only wanted to do it if I could make her like a guy." So I based her off an ex-boyfriend, somebody that like a lot of times in life, like when you're a girl, you're dating a guy, and then you've been hanging out for a couple months, and you're going to breakfast together all the time, you're going shopping, and everything's cool, and you've never really had the conversation. Then one day you're like, "Oh, so my girlfriend's having a birthday party," and he's like, "Whoa, I think that's a little early," and you have to be cool about it because, "Oh yeah, totally, whatever." And guys, for some reason, have get away with that, and I feel like there's a lot of girlfriends in my life who are like that, but they're not always depicted like that. So I created her and with the idea of like what a man would be like and what they're depicted like, but really how a lot of my girlfriends are. So we're hanging out, my character and Channing's character are having sex and fooling around, and he starts to fall, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, no."
So you will not
not apologize for it either.
And you won't be back for the sequel.
I think the sequel is a prequel.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow.
From what I understand.
News.
I think from what they've last told me.
And you just finished the Newsroom. What was that like? Looking back on that whole experience,
right.
What was that sort of like?
Being on the Newsroom, it changed my whole career. Like, and you hope for that opportunity, but you just don't know. I mean, it just really gave me the opportunity to show people what I was capable of, and I mean, I'm forever grateful for that opportunity.
So, how hard is it to read those Sorkin? I mean, is it as legendarily hard as people make it out to be?
It is difficult, but for me, I found that if you read every episode, there's a theme to every episode, and what you're saying is, is basically just mimicking this theme. For me, I had a lot of financial jargon and a lot of stuff to memorize, and the only way to say it, the only way to memorize it was to really know it, and the only way to deliver it the right way is to really know it. So. Sometimes it was hard when you're just like rattling off stuff, but I just did a replacement of it. For example, there was one episode where on the surface it would look like, my character was trying to teach Emily Mortimer's character the economy, the history of money. And every time I say something, she comes back and says, why does he hate me? Even though she, it was her character with Jeff Daniels, like that, she cheated on him, but she's sorry, and it's just gotten so bad. And so whenever I'm telling her something about history, she comes back with that. Now on the surface, it would look like she's, not really focused, or if you're just reading it, like, oh, she's just so wrapped up in the relationship, and then I'm just trying to teach the economy. But really, we're both saying the same thing, because so the point when I'm trying to learn this, and there's a line is like, you see this $20 bill? It's not worth anything unless we all believe that it does. It's just a piece of paper. And once we break that trust, it all falls apart. We got the debt ceiling, European debt crisis, all that stuff. I'm mimicking the same thing. So to memorize that, I said, I'm looking at her and I'm explaining this. So when she says, why is he so mad? I'm like, well, relationships, all of this doesn't mean anything unless we all believe that it does. Once you break that trust, i.e. cheat on him, it all falls apart. That's why he's mad at you. Debt crisis, blah, blah, blah. So that was the easiest way for me to memorize, was just to find the theme and then a replacement.
Do you feel like you now know a lot more about sort of international affairs and?
No. I know only the stories that I did and know nothing else.
Now you started on G4 and you sort of had this reputation as being this. You were like the hot geek, right? You like dressed up as Princess Leia at Comic-Con and things like that, and you were in Iron Man 2 very briefly.
Yeah, if you reached down for your popcorn, you missed me.
Right.
Like. Oh, that was it.
But I mean, But it's sort of weird that you haven't. I mean, do you want to do sort of these big sort of geeky things? Because it seems like you had a real passion for this kind of material.
Well, yeah, when you, it's very difficult. Like, it's sometimes when people will say things like that to me, like, "Oh, don't you want to do a Marvel movie?" Like, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Just because you want to, or just because you have a great fan base, doesn't mean that that opportunity has been presented to me, or that I've had enough work behind me, or cultivated what I have to cultivate to get that kind of opportunity. Those kind of things are hard to get,
Right.
and are tough, and it's just not my time yet, and or may never be my time. But of course, like you always want to do great projects. You get offered the crappier things. You don't. When Marvel comes around, everybody wants to do that,
Right.
but and nobody talks about like that really bad, really horrible, like stupid superhero movie. They're like, okay, she wears a bathing suit the whole time, and her real superpower comes when she takes it off. You want to do it? I'm like, no.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Drew would love to do this.
What would be your like ultimate? Do you have a character or a franchise or something that you would like be all about?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't really think...
Not Star Wars more than Marvel or anything?
No. I think, again, it's... like, I guess I don't think of those things because you really have to kind of go with what the world is in the industry is giving you. You really... Like, when some people are like, I have this goal, and I'm going to do this, and this I'm going to make my career. It's like, I didn't know that I'd be where I am today. Like, I'm really excited about... I have a production company deal with CBS Studios to create television shows. And I didn't think that that's where I was going towards. And I'm so excited about that more than anything else. And sometimes when you look at, you have to, that's an opportunity that came my way. And, even if somebody said they wanted Star Wars, it's really, I want all of you guys to write me a check for $1,000. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. There are a lot of things that I want. But the realistic thing for me, I think, is just to focus and be prepared when the opportunities come, and not put that out there that I want these really big, hard to achieve goals.
Well, one really cool thing that you have coming up that I'm pretty excited for is this animated show on
Yeah.
Disney, The Miles from Tomorrowland.
Are you excited about it?
I am,
That's
because
exciting.
I love everything Tomorrowland
Oh,
associated.
yeah.
Yeah.
These guys, this is great. It's like on Disney Junior, and it's like basically the new version of the Jetsons, I think. And it's great because they've combining. We have astronauts and people from SpaceX that we talk to and get advice from, and it really helps to, I think, at the end of the day, get kids' minds opened up to the possibilities are endless. And it really inspires, I think, young girls too to become more interested in science and math, because I think studies have shown that they're not as interested in it. And I I'm the mother, but I also get to play the captain, and that's pretty cool.
And will you watch that? Because you don't have to actually watch yourself. You
No,
just have to listen to yourself.
that is different.
Yeah.
I will watch that. Yeah, because it won't look like me.
And is there any connection to the George Clooney movie, or just the Tomorrowland title?
No, there's
Okay.
no connection. I was like, wait,
You're like, what?
no,
Did you get to go to Tomorrowland?
no, because it's animation. It doesn't
But, I mean,
exist,
it's-
Drew. It's
Wait,
not
what?
real. Oh, sweetheart, it's not real. Aw, all right, get him some water. Here, have some water. You're not doing so well. You feeling okay?
Oh, yeah, so
Got
good.
that.
Thank
With your
you.
nice apple mug.
Is it a nice apple? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
It's like we're on morning talk show. So, tell me about your day.
You were on the Chew this morning, right?
I was on the Chew.
How was that?
It was fun. It's like when you watch those cooking shows, like no matter what you do, I literally picked up some salt and I put it in the sink, and the whole audience goes, "Oh!" It's like, really? I put some cinnamon in, like, "Oh!" It's like, you guys, it's just cinnamon. You can do this at home.
They can't. And are you done with Ride Along too, or is that?
Yeah,
okay.
that was so much fun.
What was it like working with Kevin Hart? Because he is the
I
funniest
love
man.
Kevin Hart. I love him. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that movie because.
Because you saw the first movie.
Because I didn't actually see the first one. Because I was like, well, I don't know. There were some other things that I was looking at doing, and I was like, I don't know. It's really their movie.
Yeah.
But then Kevin and I, we met randomly backstage somewhere, and I just fell in love with him immediately. And we had such a great banter. And then the director was so cool because he's like, you know, you don't have to be the love interest or wear. I'm like, if I'm gonna be a cop, I want to just wear like jeans and a t-shirt. Like the guys get to wear jeans and a t-shirt. Like that's what I want to wear. I'm not gonna be like in, you know, like in like a low cut blouse and a blazer.
So you're like the sort of third point in their triangle, or is it mostly still just those two just?
No,
it's
the two of those guys, and then they end up in Miami, which would be my territory, and then we kind of all need each other to solve a crime. I mean, haven't you seen these shows before? It's kind of all the same. Just this one has Kevin Hart, so it's really funny. Yeah. I mean, basically, it's like something happens, and then we're not sure, is it a drug crime? Is it a gun crime? And then people get involved. Cops get involved. Comedy happens. The end.
And you still haven't seen the first one?
Because I know how it ends. A lot of laughter.
Yeah. That's what
And then
that's
the
what you
end,
take away.
a lot of Kevin Hart, who I love.
Do you get some good singers in there, or is it just?
I don't know.
Are you the heavy?
I don't know. I think I'm more the straight guy in that. But Kevin made me laugh all of the time. He is one of the funniest people and one of the best human beings ever.
And that's out this year at some point.
I
feel like you guys shot that in like 2 weeks.
Well, you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
So you're following along to people's random Instagrams. It was longer. It was like 2.5 months. Yeah. Where did you get your research?
Well, no, it just seemed like it came out very quickly. They were
Well,
like,
it's not
well,
out.
we gotta go. Well, I know, but it's done filming. The original was out this time last year. I saw it on a plane.
Yeah, what does the first one have to do with the second one?
Well, just
and how long we shot it? Do you want some more water?
Yes, I'm going to take some more water.
Do you want them to give you some of their cash? Would that make you feel better? You guys, give them $1. Come on, guys.
You can leave it on the stage.
Like church. Somebody take out a hat, pass it around.
With that, I think we're going to go to some audience questions.
Hi, nice to see you. I remember you in an interview saying that there was a time that you're just trying to book Ross commercials, and what would you say was just like the turning tide? What were like the events and what contributed to what you're doing now?
Well, Attack of the Show and being on G4 is definitely I give credit to everything I have today because of that. I mean, the fan base, the OMFG, everybody at G4, and the fact that they allowed me to do skits and stuff so I could like put out my comedy and be different characters. That gave me the platform for Jon Stewart to see me. I didn't audition for The Daily Show. That wasn't in my head that anybody would ever allow me to be on that. And I was lucky that they were looking for a new female correspondent. He saw that because of my work on the Attack of the Show. That gave me the opportunity to do The Daily Show, and then that was my big break for sure.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm your big fan.
Oh, thank you.
You're so gorgeous and you're so sexy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking to her or me?
Yeah. Then you look so smart.
Oh.
I'm afraid to talk to you because you look so, What's your favorite Japanese food? Then do you have a good memory about Tokyo, Japan? Thank you so much. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, nice talking. はじめまして。日本語を少しだけ。はい、ありがとう。I do remember Japan because I was there, like until I was 16. I was from 8 years old to 16 years old. And I lived on an air base, Yokota Air Base, do you know the Yokota Air Base? Yes. And I think my favorite is yakisoba. Yeah. Hey, arigato. Hi.
Hi, Olivia. My name is Evan. I'm a big fan of Marvel, and Robert Downey Jr. and Johnny Depp are my two favorite actors of all time, just so you know.
Wow.
FYI. But, yeah, so
that's so cool. They're both awesome guys.
Oh, really? I mean, how do you compare them both?
How do I what?
How would you compare both of them?
Johnny is when Robert walks in, he commands the entire room. I mean, he's already. It's like, when you're a comedian like that, he walks in the room and everyone's laughing and he's making jokes right away, and it's a really big thing. Johnny is more. He's a little bit more quiet. He's so sweet when he walks on set. I mean, they're both really nice and good to everyone, but Robert's probably just a bigger personality, and Johnny is just a little bit more chill.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
So what made you decide to do Newsroom of all the great stories out there. But like, I mean, I love you on the show. But I was wondering, like, what made you decide to do it of everything out there?
Well, at the time, I had an NBC show that was ending. Some people say it was canceled. I just like to say that it turned into a miniseries. Feels better. So then some other offers were coming through, and then I read the Newsroom. And I just, as soon as I read it, I just knew that was the one. And my representatives were all pushing me to take the other offers that I were getting, because they're, some of them are shows that are on the air and doing great right now. It's network, so you do more episodes, which means more money. And also, Sorkin just came off winning the Academy Award for The Social Network. So there's only 3 roles in the Newsroom for women, and it would be very difficult. And on top of that, the casting at the time was saying we're only looking at Broadway actors. And the girl from The Daily Show isn't exactly, Broadway pedigree. So I struggled with it because I just knew if I could get an opportunity. I didn't know at the time because the role was small. I had no idea that it would become what it became and that I would be given the opportunities that I was given. It was just simply, if I can get this shot to be with Aaron Sorkin on his show and to work with him, then it could possibly change my career. So I turned down the offers that were coming through. And the more I turned it down, I was turning it down just for the hope of the audition, not even having the audition. And it was like 4 weeks, and it was 5 different shows and that I was turning down, and I got more anxiety. And I was like, and I have trichotillomania, which means I like rip out my lashes from anxiety. So I was like, just like week after week. I was like, this is so, because the more I was turning it down, the more I was like turning down money. And also it was meant that the more time I haven't even secured an audition. So I was like, what am I doing? And then I went to Jon Stewart when I got I remember the 5th offer, this other show, and I went to Jon Stewart because I was on The Daily Show at the time, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, we don't have the audition set up, and this isn't yet another show that's coming and going. Am I just being stupid? And he asked me 2 very simple questions, and after that, I knew my answer. And he said, if you take one of these shows and you don't wait for Sorkin, will you regret it? And I said, yes. And he said, okay. If you don't take one of these shows and you don't end up getting Sorkin, will you regret it? And I said, no. He said, well, that's your answer. He said, when you bet on yourself and you win big. And, I bet on myself, and I rolled the dice, and I just knew that it was something special. And that's why you have to hold out for things special. If you just, I got in my car, and my broke down Land Rover Discovery that broke down every 100 miles from Oklahoma to California, and I came for just a hope of something better and of just a dream, and it changes. Your dreams change and grow, and now I was in this situation. I was like, yeah, all these shows would be better from where I started, but this is something. This is the dream, to be able to go after things like that, and give yourself a heart attack in the process. I mean, the day I found out, I went back to The Daily Show. I told John, and he was like, yes. And I said, great. And I sat down, and I had the most insane migraine that just immediately came over my head because I'd been holding on to so much stress for over a month.
Did the experience sort of fulfill all of that stuff that you sort of wanted it to?
Yeah, more than I ever thought. I had no idea that he would give me the opportunities that he gave me, and that the people, you never know when you do a character if people will respond to it. I made a decision to make my character unapologetic. I think a lot of times women are apologizing for being feminine and being strong, and I was like, oh, people may not like this, but I'm one of the characters in this. Maybe they won't, maybe it'll kind of blend in. But thankfully, it was a nice response.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Completely different topic, but I'm just wondering if you were a very big football fan prior to this year, and if you had any thoughts on the game this weekend.
You're dating a football player, right? I read this online during my vast research.
You're
this
like,
on Wikipedia.
Yeah, you just did a search on Twitter and looked at the first 10 tweets.
It's like, she didn't tag me for tonight, but yeah.
I liked football. I think like regular person likes football. I wasn't, I don't play fantasy football and things like that. But the biggest thing is that but realizing it and seeing it firsthand, like how amazing that team is and how hard it is to do what they do. I'm in awe of my boyfriend and of that team.
What team is it?
The Green Bay Packers.
I don't know.
Great research,
Yeah.
this guy.
Listen, I'm a film journalist.
Some more
Okay.
water.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for coming out today. You mentioned you had a recent deal with CBS, a production deal with them. I wonder if you could speak more about that, how you got the deal, and what type of project you'd like to see yourself doing in the future, if not acting, more producing, or.
I'd been. I don't know what was going on in the world or whatever at the time, but I just at the same time was talking to my literary agent at CAA about some TV show ideas that I wanted to just create. Wasn't for me to do. I just I had ideas, and I thought I'd want to do them. And at the same time, he was being approached by different networks and studios to give me a production company deal, and that can happen for actors time to time. A lot of times, it's a production company deal for you to create your own show for you to star in, but I wasn't interested in that because I just wanted to be able to go just to create. And thankfully, that's what this opportunity was, and just for me to produce and create television shows, and as many as I can. They've given me that opportunity. So the deal they gave me was it was enough to hire executives and a staff, and so that I can really focus and move forward on trying to create content. And right now, I'm getting the team together. And then once we all get together, we'll decide the direction that we want to go. But I do have ideas, but I think it's important once you get the team together to vet it out and go forward. Thanks.
Hi, back to the newsroom. How far in advance did you get the scripts, and what was your reaction when you found out you were going to kill Charlie?
Well, did I kill him? We got the scripts. Aaron Sorkin writes every single episode, and there are times when we would just be waiting around for 2 weeks, and that's how much thought and care he puts into them. And then there'll be times where we in season 1, I had an episode where my character goes into Japanese, going back and forth. It's hard enough to do Sorkin dialogue. Now do it in Japanese. I got that the night before, and it was intense. And that's more rare, but that happens. And so that you'd go from periods of being waiting around to getting massive dialogue the night before. And when I was reading that script in bed where Charlie has a heart attack, and then Emily Mortimer said, he died, and I threw my script down and screamed. I just couldn't believe that he went there, and I didn't know what to think. It was just an exciting thing to read, just that somebody would kill off a main character and do it in that way. And then we went to the next day to talk to Sam, because Sam didn't know until he read it, and he was just beaming. He was like, yeah, I die. In a way that every actor is excited to do something really dramatic. You're oh, I have a crying scene. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm going to die. It's you get really excited.
Hey, Olivia. So my daughter, who's also Olivia, is a big fan of yours, and one of the things that she really admires is the fact that you're an animal lover.
Oh,
so
thanks.
This is her rendition of Chance, which is
oh my
your
gosh,
new
that's so
family
sweet.
member.
That looks nothing like him.
I'm not going to tell her that.
Okay,
but,
well, maybe you should. You should.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm just kidding. No,
Very
thank you.
Tiger
That's so
Mom
sweet.
of you. So,
yes, well,
okay.
I am Asian.
So
no, that's very sweet. Thank you.
The question that we had was, how did you get interested in animal activism, and what kind of prompted you to get involved in animal health and animal care?
I think I've always loved animals, and then when you start to get exposed to what happens to so many animals, when you actually see the videos and hear about it, and all the animals in the circus, that's what really stood out to me. Finding out that the animals in the circus are electrocuted and chained up and forced to perform all these stunts, and in front of the crowd, everyone's smiling and laughing, and it looks great, but then behind that curtain, it's just torture. And I grew up in a pretty tumultuous family, so there was a lot of was a pretty intense upbringing, and I quickly connected with that feeling of like from the front everything looks great, but from the back, once you go behind that door, it's a different world. And as a kid, I always thought that was very unfair, that people never saw, that you have to pretend that things are okay. And then when I heard that with the circus and with the elephants, it was just a very easy connection, and I felt that you have to speak up for animals who can't speak up for themselves. And then there was the Dogathon on Fox. It aired on Thanksgiving Day after the football game. Why are you nodding? Did you watch it? Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, the one thing you watched.
Yeah, the one thing I watched.
No. It was great. And my publicist, Marcel, he is a huge animal lover, and he helped put that together and produce it. And I was presenting at it, and I love animals. That's why I thought I shouldn't be getting a dog, because I travel too much. It's too intense. And then Max Greenfield, he's from the New Girl. He's a friend of mine, and he came up to me. He's like, Olivia, do you want a dog? And I was like, no, I'm not looking. He's like, you have to have this dog. He's like, it is the sweetest, chillest dog ever. And I saw it, and I called Marcel immediately. I was like, please get me this dog. And I called my boyfriend. I was like, so I adopted a dog. He was really quiet, and he just goes, I don't know if you're joking. I'm like, I'm not. He's coming home, and he's been the best thing. I mean, he's almost 5 months, but when we got him, he was 3 months, a little over 3 months, and we house trained him in a day and a half, and now he knows how to sit, lie, shake, and he's going to learn the violin soon. I'm really excited. No, but
he has a
we're
brief
just,
role in Ride Along too.
Yeah, he's going to be in Ride Along too, which we shot in 2.5 weeks.
Hi, you were
Hi.
brilliant, the network. I'm curious,
Thank you.
because of all the dialogue, was every word literally verbatim from what was written on the page? Or
Yes.
could you sort of...
No, you cannot. No, every word, it's verbatim to the script, to the dialogue. But it's important when you see how Aaron writes. He writes for each character, and you actually get to learn a lot about each character by the way the dialogue is written. And they're, the best. Improv is great, and I love improv. It's a fun art to do, but it's really amazing to read a script and not have to improv. Like everything is right there, and it's fun to do that. I loved it. Some people I heard had a problem with it, but it made it more rewarding because it was so challenging. Thank you.
All right, let's thank Olivia Munn one more time.
No, let's thank Drew for his subpar researching. Thanks, Drew.
Listen, I do what I can. Go see Mordecai.
But an A+ beard, might
Thank
I
you.
add.
And I've actually seen the movie, so.
Oh, hey. All right.
It's really fun. It's out next week.
Yes.
And go buy your tickets on moviephone.com.
Yes, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.